I love baseball cards. Got 'em, need 'em, got 'em, need 'em, need 'em, need 'em, got 'em, got 'em, need 'em.
Welcome to another episode of Remember the Great Sports Card Show Pickups video. Guys, I have a massive amount of cards I'm going to show with you this episode. I went to a card show and there was the same dealer that I bought from in the past that had 50-cent cards, and it was the same dealer that I showed you in the past, but last card show I didn't have a lot of time to spend with him. This card show, I spent like 3 hours at his table. I picked up a stack, I kid you not, mostly vintage, of over 200 50-cent cards. And after the deal was all said and done, I actually got the cards for nearly 35 cents. That's it. 35 cents a card. Shocking. Alright, so I'm going to jump into this. We're going to leave the vintage for last. I'm going to talk about some other deals that I bought at the card show first. And if you guys remember back from a previous episode, I talked about a guy that had a bunch of binders that all cards were $1 or 6 for $5. Well, I went back and visited him again. Unfortunately, he didn't have a whole lot of different cards than what I remembered a couple months back, but he said he did add a few extras, so I only wound up actually buying 5 or 6 cards from this individual. The first one is this really cool Tim Duncan insert, and I'm not really sure what it is. It says all rookie, but you can actually see through the card. If you can see that card, there's actually, it's punched out where it says all rookie, and you can see through it like that, and I thought that was pretty cool. I knew I didn't have that. I found another Fred McGriff rookie card, and all these were $1, actually 6 for $5. A Gary Sheffield El Paso Diablos card, from back in the day. Chef was one of my favorite players. A Brett Favre rookie card. Brett was actually the last one I grabbed. That was my free one, I guess you would call it, but you can't go wrong with a Brett Favre. A Terrence Gore autograph. Now, the reason I grabbed that was Terrence was part of the championship World Series team that the Royals were on. And, whenever you can find a World Series champion's autograph for $1 or less, why not? And the final autograph was a Ryan Klesko autograph. Now, Ryan Klesko was part of the Braves teams back in the 90s that were very successful. He went on to go play for the Padres after the Braves and had some pretty decent seasons there as well. But a nice Ryan Klesko signed card. These cards were 6 for $5. So we'll move on since we got a lot of area to cover here. Now, I'm going to save some Hall of Fame autographs for the last part of the video. But we're going to jump right in to this. So if you aren't interested in cheap vintage cards, definitely, skip ahead with the skips down at the bottom there. But I'm going to show you the non-vintage stuff first, and then we're going to jump into 200 plus cards, and I'm going to go really fast through those. Before we get started though, all these cards came out to be 35 cents each, with the exception of this card. He gave to me for $1, and this is a Darren Baker certified autograph card. And this Darren Baker, he had 2 on, but he knocked off a buck, so I said, for $1, I'll take Dusty Baker's son's autograph. So now I have Dusty Baker and Darren Baker's card signed. So we'll move on to the next stack, and again, this is going to be quite the stack. These are the non-vintage ones, and these, 2 hands worth of vintage. So, the non-vintage cards I didn't spend a whole lot of time on. I kind of hit and missed, and I was looking basically for top loaders. So I looked at cards and top loaders, and I'm like, that's worth 50 cents, why not? So I grabbed this 50-cent Barry Sanders Fleer Ultra insert from back in the day. Love these first-year Fleer Ultra cards. Very similar to the Brett Favre card that I just showed you. I believe it's out of that set. This will be an insert out of this set. The regular set would have these inserted in packs randomly, I believe. So, very cool to add that Barry Sanders. And again, Randy Johnson, Donruss the Rookies in a top loader. a Grant Hill rookie card in a top loader. And this one surprised me a little bit. Current Detroit Pistons star, Cade Cunningham rookie cards. And I say rookie cards plural. Sorry about the glare there. Rookie cards plural on one. His rated rookie Donruss card. And his parallel rated rookie Donruss. All 35 cents each. And these aren't super huge valuable cards, but Cade Cunningham is one of the best players in the NBA right now, certainly on the Pistons. So I thought, why not for that price on his rookie card? So with that said, that was pretty much it in the top loaders for the non-vintage stuff, but he also had stuff that was penny sleeved, and all of these were stuck in his 50-cent box in penny sleeves. Again, these cost 35 cents each. These are autographs from Thomas Nido and Troy Scribner. And here's a bunch of football autographs. I don't know these guys that well. Maybe some of the viewers do. Marquise Wilson. Christian Michael, am I saying that right? Christian Michael. Josh Boyce. And who is that? Jonathan Franklin. And Matt Barkley. I've heard of Matt Barkley. I remember when he was in college. DJ Hayden on an autograph. And finally, Ryan Otten. And all of these are serial numbered autographs with sticker autographs. So again, all of these football autographs and the two baseball, 35 cents each in the final deal, or 50 cents each if you want to call it that. Alright, so next segue into the vintage section, I actually did find a couple cards that are technically vintage, but they're really not. If you want to call 1981 vintage. Now, 1981, was kind of, I don't want to say the Wild West, but it was kind of the Wild West where Topps for the longest time was the only Major League Baseball card product, and everybody was trying a little different things. Well, I found these in the 50-cent box, and what these are from 1981, and these are called 1981 Perma-Graphics baseball credit cards. And if you look on the back, we got Johnny Bench, Yaz, and Palmer here. But you look on the back, and it's like a baseball card, and it actually has a section for them to sign their autograph on the back, just like a credit card. And these were kind of unique concepts back in the day. Again, I guess they got Major League Baseball's permission, or they didn't, because you can see they are wearing their logos on the cards, so they weren't airbrushed out or anything like that. But back in 1981, Fleer was coming on the scene, Donruss was coming on the scene, and a lot of independent companies just started making cards. I don't know how else to explain it. I mean, I was a very, 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 very little boy in 1981, so I wasn't, can't say I remember this, but I had a couple of these in my collection throughout the years. I want to say I have, Steve Garvey or somebody like that, and I always thought these were cool. I'm always for the oddball and the unique, and gosh, guys, these things are so cheap. I mean, I looked up the Steve Garvey on eBay. It's like $2.50, buy it now. So, I mean, these are super, super cheap, even still to this day. Just kind of a unique collectible. If you have a favorite player collector, like Carl Yastrzemski or Bench or somebody like that, this is definitely a unique Johnny Bench card that you don't see every day. This is not like an 81 Topps or, something like that. So, just a very, very cool segue into the vintage cards here, because these are unique. I'm going to have to put these somewhere special because I got a feeling I'll just lose these if I just randomly put them in a box in my room. So I have to figure out a unique little place for these guys, and hopefully I can come across that Steve Garvey one and put them all together. But with that said, we'll move into the next section, and I'm going to go super, super fast with these because I just have so many of them, and this could take forever if I don't. So get that off the screen so it's not glaring. So to start with, stack number 1. All the cards that I bought were either collectible in my mind, or I wanted to get them for TTMs. That's what most of these are for. And when I say collectible, you'll understand what I mean. Well, I'll just say it right off the bat here. Here's a Johnny Bench RBI leaders card from 1974 RBI's leader, 75 tops, and a Burt Blyleven 75 tops. Probably not going to get those signed ever. I guess I could get Blyleven to sign that if I technically wanted to, but I thought, hey, this is cool enough to buy for 35 cents. Here's the victory leaders, the 74 victory leaders with Ferguson Jenkins and Phil Necro, Catfish Hunter. Obviously, those two guys have passed away, so I'm not getting that signed. So that's one side of the category. Now, the next side of the category is, can I get these guys TTM? And the answer is mostly yes. So I'm going to go through these really quick, okay? So, there's a J.C. Martin, because it's not listed, just other than Martin. But I'm just going to lay these down and show them to you. There's a collectible with Yaz. You know how I like my leaders cards. But again, like I said, these are all just for mostly TTMs. Got a couple football cards in here as well, and I'll show them to you, obviously. A couple team leader cards. I thought, why not? On the team, or not team checklist, excuse me, not team leaders. But most of these guys I've either written before, or I've got them on my to-do list to write. Here's a Reggie Jackson, for example, 78 Reggie Jackson. And, oh yeah, I forgot about this. I actually got, I think, a couple copies of this, a Jack Morris rookie card. So Hall of Famer Jack Morris's rookie card right there, 35 cents. You guys know how I like my dual rookies too. They show up a lot on my TTM videos. Tommy John should be a Hall of Famer, but very, very nice early Tommy John. You're going to see some repeating names in here. They're not put in order yet. I'm going to have to sort through them and put them by player. But like I said, a lot of these guys do sign. And hopefully you'll be seeing them again in future TTM videos. And yes, I am going to be doing TTM videos again. That is on my to-do list. I know I've had kind of a hiatus over the last year for TTMs, but I do plan on coming back at full force. I don't know if I'm going to do them every week, but I'm going to gradually work my way back into doing TTMs, because that's kind of what the bread and butter of my channel was. Here's a 68 RBI leaders with Ken Harrelson, Frank Howard, and Jim Northrup. Spangler rookie card. But again, you can imagine how fun of a time I had going through all of these cards for over like 3 hours. And I knew on the high end I was going to have to pay 50 cents for these, but the dealer and I have a history, and that's a good history, not a bad one. The dealer and I have a history, so we cut a deal, and there's a Zolio Versailles rookie card. Here's the other Jack Morris, so another Jack Morris rookie. Like I said, 90% of these are for TTMs. So hopefully you'll be seeing, there's a Cito Gaston rookie card, so if he ever gets in the Hall of Fame, that definitely is going to be a collectible. And some of these are beat up. There's a leader's card with Jim Palmer on it and Dick Bosman. Here's a nice rookie with Ron Guidry on it. Alright, so that's the first stack. I'm just going to simply stack all these back to the side. Alright, we're still going. This is the next stack. So, like I said, got a lot of them in here. Here's a Ted Simmons, real nice shape. Hall of Famer now. But most of these, now this one is Reggie Jackson on this World Series card. So another Reggie. Here is Raleigh Fingers and Reggie Jackson and a couple other teammates. On that card, you'll see a couple of those. This one, I believe, is Dick Green, who's a good TTMer. We got here Rick Roden rookie card. Like I said, these are all good TTMers or decent TTMers. And some of these names you have seen. There's another Ted Simmons. Or Louis Aparicio, Hall of Famer. Raleigh Fingers. Another A's Do It Again. Oh, here's a real nice one. I actually found a Jim Rice rookie card in there. It's in beat up shape, but it's a Jim Rice rookie. Why not? Jim Lornborg, his World Series card. Again, like I said, most of these guys are great signers. Couple Seattle Pilots cards. Here's a Amos Otis and Gary Gentry rookie. I've run into Amos Otis a few times. Never have seen Gary Gentry though. He's kind of eluded me most of my autograph collecting career. Rich Nye. Like I said, you've probably seen some of these guys on my channel before. Here's a second-year Rookie Cup Al Oliver. Really nice card. It's kind of beat up a little bit, but look how clean on the back that is, though. Kind of miscut, though. Bernie Carbo rookie with Danny Breeden. Like I said, I am planning on writing all these. It's going to cost me a few stamps to write all these guys, but that's the fun of it, and I can hopefully share them all with you guys when I get them returned to me. Like I said, lots of guys. Oh, here's a cool one I found on there. Whitey Ford leader's card, and I've bought this card before, but Camilo Pascual signs through the mail. Unfortunately, the other two guys are no longer with us. Juan Pizarro and Jim Bunning were great signers TTM when they were alive, but you could have actually got this entire card signed at one time, which would have been really nice. Nice Ron Hansen Rookie Cup card. Ron's a great signer, former Rookie of the Year. There's another A's Do It Again. And another A's Do It Again. Simpson. Tony Sisk. Ron Stone rookie. Gene Alley, All-Star card. I love getting these signed, these sideways 68 All-Stars. Room 4. Joe Morgan, the coach. J.C. Martin, good old Bob Oldest, and to round out the last one with an Al Lopez. He's a Hall of Famer, so I thought, why not, for 35 cents. So, to wrap this up, I did say there were a couple football cards in this lot as well. I actually found the Quattro card with Johnny Rowland, Bill Brown, Sam Baker, and Craig Morton, and another quad card with Joe Scapardi, Walter Pock, Bernie Casey, the actor, and Jack. What's Jack's last name there? Can't read that. Concannon. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Jack Concannon. And the gem of the football cards that I found, other than the Barry Sanders, of course, that I showed you already, is a Bubba Smith rookie card. Hightower from Police Academy himself. This is a Bubba Smith rookie card. So if you guys don't know who Bubba Smith is, you probably may not remember him from his football playing career. But if you grew up in the 80s, you know who this guy is. He's Hightower on Police Academy. So I got a Hightower rookie card. So I'm going to zoom out and just show these to you for a second here, guys. That's zooming in. That's the opposite of out. But look at all these. I mean, oh my gosh. Look at all this. All of these were 35 cents a piece. That's it. 35 cents. I mean, I almost feel like Don West jumping in cards and wanting to swim. This was so fun going through these boxes and getting these cards out. I had a great time with the seller. His name is Tommy. I had a great time hanging out with Tommy, just talking sports, talking cards, you know, just having a blast. And, you know, I told him I'm going to come back in a couple months and we're going to go through some more of his cards. I might re-go through what I already went through, you know, to see what I missed. So, I'm not lying. At the end of the video, I saved some autographs from another dealer. So again, all of this that you see here, I paid $80 for. All of this that I just showed you was $80. And I thought that was more than fair. Came out to like 35 cents a card. So this final stop on my journey at the card show, this was closing time. We were down to the last hour, you know, between 3 and 4 o'clock. And I went to this guy's table and he had some cheap autographs. And I went through his box and I originally pulled this Spencer Haywood and this Charlie Scott jersey / autograph card out of his bin. And everything was half off. So these were $5 each. And so I went through another one and I found this Reed Detmers, which is a pitching prospect with the Angels right now. He's kind of had a up and down major league career at this point. But I absolutely love the retro 87 Topps cards, you know, from the current Topps product, and an on-card auto of his rookie card. So I thought, you know, I wouldn't mind getting that for $5. You know, these were, $5 each. That was $5. So I went up to his, to check out, and he's like, give me $10 for all of them. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? He's like, yeah, just give me $10. I said, well, in that case, I saw another $10 card in your case there. Will you throw that in for another $5, so $15 for all of them? He's like, yeah, sure. So that last card was a Tom Mack Hall of Famer autograph card. Hall of Famer Tom Mack. So these 3 Hall of Famers and the Reed Detmers for $15. All of them were signed. I mean, I'm like, yes. So this goes to show, when you go to a card show and you're in your last hour, definitely consider pulling the trigger and going around to some tables and just doing the last minute shopping, because I got all 4 of these autographs for just $15. And 3 of them are Hall of Famers. How can you go wrong with that? So, I'm going to wrap this video up. I'm going to zoom out a little bit more. I keep zooming in. Sorry about that. I'm going to just show you the magnitude of what I bought at this card show. And here's the first cards I showed you with the Brett Favre rookie and all that in there. But all this roughly everything that I bought came out to about $100. So I think I made my $100 bill stretch really far at this card show. I really enjoyed shooting this video. If you guys like this one, definitely give me some comments below. Give me a thumbs up. That helps with the algorithm thing. And as always, happy collecting.